In this video, we're going to walk through each of the audio settings on your new Pioneer AVH-110BT. So from any source, and we're on the auxiliary source right now, let's touch the gears up here. And under the gears, we want to go to the speaker or the audio settings. And here we go. So the first thing we see here is the graphic EQ, and there is a full video on how to operate the graphic EQ with custom 1 and custom number 2. So please check out the graphic EQ video for AVH-110BT. We'll go back up. Next up is our pre-out setting. You can see right now it is set to subwoofer, but the pre-out setting is grayed out. The way that you operate the pre-out setting here is there are 2 sets of RCA outputs on the Pioneer AVH-110BT. They can be set up as front and rear output or front and subwoofer output, and you can adjust this by switching the in-dash receiver source off. So let's go to the home area here, and we'll touch to switch the source off. We'll go back to the gears and to the audio menu, and here you can see the pre-out is now available, and I can switch that from rear to subwoofer. I'm going to choose subwoofer for right now, and we'll hit the X, and we'll switch on a source. I'm going to choose auxiliary as my source, and we'll go back to the gears and back to the speaker or the audio settings. Next up is the fader and balance control, so let's open that window. And here you can see we can balance from right to left by touching the buttons here, and we can fade from the rear to the front, however that works best for you. You can also just touch an area of the screen to move the fader and balance to that location, or back to the center. There we go. When you're done making your adjustments there, we'll go back. Next up is the source level adjuster, or SLA. Right now it's set to 0. Now if you remember when we started the video here, we were on the auxiliary source, and any of the sources, auxiliary, Bluetooth audio, USB, or disc, you can adjust that source level adjuster. And if you're on the AM/FM radio, you'll find that the source level adjuster is not available. The reason for that is we use the source level adjuster to adjust the volume of any given source as compared to FM. So when you're on FM, you can't compare it to FM. That's the only thing you get, and the source level adjuster will be grayed out. On all of the other settings, and we're on the auxiliary setting right now, we can make the auxiliary source a little louder as compared to FM, or a little quieter as compared to FM. So for right now, I'm going to set my auxiliary source a little quieter as compared to FM. And the idea here is very simple. When we switch between sources, there should not be a big jump up or a big drop down in the volume of the audio system. They should remain pretty level. So we use the source level adjuster to adjust the level of any source as compared to FM. All right, let's go back up. Next up is our subwoofer setting. Because we have the subwoofer output available to us, the subwoofer setting is switched on. We can also choose to switch it off. Now, if we switch it off, you'll see our next setting here, group of settings, is subwoofer settings right here are grayed out because I switched the subwoofer off. So let's go back up here and switch the subwoofer on. Then we'll scroll down to our next level of settings, and you can see that the subwoofer settings are now available. Next up is our speaker level. Let's open that. And under the speaker level settings, we can make any individual speaker in the system a little louder or a little quieter as compared to the other speakers. And so if you need the front right or the passenger side front to be a little louder as compared to the other speakers, you can do that, or a little quieter as compared to the other speakers. Now for best audio quality, I recommend that you leave these at 0 or lower for best audio quality, and you'll still be able to use your volume, your master volume control over here to control the overall volume without risk of distortion. So 0 or lower is the best setting for any given speaker output here, but you can make any given speaker a little louder or a little quieter as compared to the other speakers right here. And of course, your subwoofer output control is right here as well. When you're done making your adjustments there, let's go back up. Next up is our subwoofer settings, and there's a full video on how to adjust the subwoofer settings and adjust the RCA output so you have a subwoofer setting. But here you can adjust the low pass filter for the subwoofer from 80 to 120 to 160 hertz, and we can choose to change the phase of the output from forward normal to reverse phase and switch that low pass filter for the subwoofer on or off right here. Let's go back up. Next up is our listening position, and you can see that the listening position is switched off. Let's go into the listening position selection, and we can choose to focus the stereo image to the front left speaker or the driver's side, or the front right, the passenger side, or all front speakers, or all four in the system. And what this is doing is changing the output of the speaker level for any given setting. So I'm going to choose front left for right now, and let's go back up. And let's go back to our speaker level here. And you can see when I made that adjustment to front left, it shows up in our speaker levels. And our rear left is a -4, rear right is a -5, front right is a -3. So these are preset adjustments from the factory. And of course, you can make any adjustments that you want here. So let's go back up. That is our listening position. And we'll take a look at bass boost. So bass boost can add a little more bottom into your system. You can make it a 0, no additional bottom in the system, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to a +6 if you want. For right now, I'm going to make that a +1 in my system. Let's go back. And next up is our loudness control, and right now you can see that loudness is switched off. We have 3 different settings inside the loudness control, low, mid, or high. And loudness is typically used in low volume situations to add a little bit more bottom back into the system. And so you can hear it a little bit better. When you raise the volume up, you might want to lower the amount of loudness that you use or even to switch it off. And let's go back up here. When you're done making your adjustments, you can hit the X to escape.